In the end, I was totally frustrated, exasperated, tearful. I tried so many people, so many churches, and I tell you, I got not one single crumb, not one crumb. There are people that choose to be on the streets, but I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought in Africa. I wouldn't have thought here in Grahamstown.
Grahamstown's economy comprises mainly of Rhodes University, local schools, small businesses and agriculture. Unavoidably, however, unemployment and poverty remain pervasive social issues. People are left to seek alternative forms of employment, often located in the informal sector. Makana Municipality, the local government, has tailored its bylaws to deal directly with these issues. We investigate whether the town's legislation creates enough opportunity for prosperity in the informal sector. A street trader is a person who carries on the business of selling goods and services in a public road or public amenity.
Unemployment the rate is quite high in this town. We're quite aware. Part of the reasons we're having bylaws is to ensure that the municipality is a conducive environment for business to create jobs, for people to make a living. But that has to be regulated.
Street traders are required by municipal bylaws to register for a license every year. In the CBD, they're allowed to trade on High and Beaufort streets. If selling foodstuffs, they need to gain clearance from the health department as well.
The health department will see which stands are available. They could then pick the one, and as long as they pay their monthly fee, which is I think 30 Rand or something a month, they would be allocated the stall.
One of the more contended bylaws refers to the prohibition of car washing on Grahamstown's roads. The enforcement of this law in High Street has driven informal car washers to find other means of income or operate elsewhere.
Now, the car washing situation is quite interesting because it doesn't fall under the main bulk of municipal bylaws. There's actually a sort of separate little rule to regulate car washing.
It's very congestive when you allow businesses to operate from out of parking areas. It opens the doors for other people who want to operate.
Hanekom also says that this bylaw has been put into effect because of the theft of water from businesses and private gardens, damage to the tar roads from corrosive cleaners used, damage to the cars themselves, and the increased rate of theft.
Though I'm not getting well here because not all of the motorists proud of giving us a life. Few people proud of giving us life. Few people who are understanding the problem, the circumstances we are staying under.
There seems to be this general mistrust of car guards. People think that they're there to steal stuff out of their cars. And if there were some sort of relationship between them and the police, that relationship would stand guarantor, if you like, for the good faith of the car guards.
We've created more employment, for example, in Grahamstown. We started off around about 40 people in Grahamstown. Because I never basically turn people away. Unless you've got a criminal record, then I'll obviously turn you away.
A car parking attendant is a person who is employed by a service provider to collect parking fees under a contract with the municipality. No person shall within the municipality operate as a car guard except where such person is registered with the council. The diversified parking system started operating in 2006. Advanced Parking Solutions, or APS, took over in 2008 with Thabo Dlabantu at the helm.
They're not there to do any security work and so forth. They are merely parking meter attendants. What they do is carry parking meters and they collect revenue.
Motorists are required by the law to pay their parking fees to APS's car parking attendants, who in turn use these fees to rent bibs and machines.
indlela endiphila ngayo ukwenza ezi-piece job apha elokishini.
Since ndayeka esikolweni ndafumana umsebenzi ku-Prostate kwakayi-1 zange bendaphinda ndasebenza until now.
Yama ndicele izikaptini zokutya ngapha nangapha uba manditye. Omnye athi asuka ndikunike ukutya khawuphangela apha umsebenzi awukho.
Ndihamba ndingene etawuni ndihambe ndingene kwindawo endibonayo kuyakhiwa okanye kuyapeyintwa, so ndifika sekuthiwa kurayithi bonke abantu aqashwa.
Kwezinye indawo uba ndiyaye ndifuna umsebenzi ndixelele ngobudala uba nandilunge ekontrakeni uba ndimdala.
If uba ndingawufumana ndingahlala kuba the way kuphilwa ngayo endlini andiyithandi, akukho ndikhoyo kuyasokoleka.
The geography of apartheid is still very much with us. Poor people are sort of marshaled to the sides of our communities and our cities and live far away from opportunities, sources of information, so they're just completely socially excluded. And it's hard to sort of emphasize how important those types of things are in explaining outcomes such as employment, well-being, escaping poverty, things like that.
The economy is just not big enough for the number of people. On top of that, all around us in Grahamstown, the number of farms has declined dramatically, so people have moved off the farms into Grahamstown.
Tucked away in a corner by the traffic department is a soup kitchen run by Grahamstown Feeding Association. Every weekday between 9 and 10, the most desperate of Grahamstown's unemployed and poor seek the relief of most often their only meal of the day before dispersing again to find alternative means of food and shelter.
And so Grahamstown is just a sort of small part of what is a national problem then, in that the economy is now not growing nearly fast enough. It's stopped generating, well, not stopped, but it's generating very, very few jobs.
Local economic development, they have a responsibility. They are also supposed to stimulate economic growth for employment opportunities. But it's something that you do not see at all.
The problem clearly lies at implementation. I think that at the legislative level, in other words, at the central government level and even at the municipal level, the legislative structures have done very well putting in place business-friendly laws in order to promote business and allow people to create jobs for themselves.
And hence, people will have a stereotypical image of such a person as myself, because it's only obvious by my appearance most of the time.
Section 22 of the Constitution says that every citizen has the right to choose their trade, occupation or profession freely, but that the practice of a trade, occupation and profession can be regulated by law. And I think we have to have this balance between the freedom to choose and the need to regulate in the public good. And as long as we can maintain that balance and enforce it sensibly, then I think that's the best we can do.
Mark has been unable to find work in Grahamstown as his previous employer is still in possession of his ID. Although Mark's situation may seem clear, he and many others like him have faced unique challenges that have led to the desperate circumstances they experience today. The issues uncovered are complex and nuanced, and the solutions to them are even more so. As individuals, we often feel a social responsibility towards our fellow beings. The larger aspect of this social problem can often feel hopeless. But we should view the individuals who are confronting these as equals deserving of opportunities, rather than simply being part of a large social issue.